Alright, folks. Howdy, howdy. Welcome back. We've got a hard puzzle today. I'm going to stick with my yesterday's announcement. Is I'm giving myself a 30-minute limit, and if I can't solve it, I'm still going to post it. Usually, if you look at my past history, there's days that I haven't posted, and there are some days where I try it, and I get stuck, and I get stumped, and I can't solve it. Normally with these hards and very hard puzzles, there's a lot of pattern recognitions, a lot of multiple patterns, crisscross patterns, very in particular for hard and very hard. And then at the very end, there's usually a rectangle pattern that I have a really hard time finding. And sometimes I find it, sometimes I don't. So let's see if we get there. Let's take a look here at some of these patterns here. Alright, I'm looking for pairs to start off with. And I notice here in the center cube there's a lot of 3's that intersect. So I've got 3 across the bottom, 3 through the middle, 3 through the center. Only one spot left for the 3 there. I see some 7's that come across and down, some 1's. Okay, I'm not marking them just yet. I'm just kind of looking to see if there's any other quick resolutions, kind of like that 3 there. Some 7 patterns this way, 4 patterns this way, 8's. Okay, so that 8 is going to be a helpful pattern down here. 8 through the bottom, 8 through the top, 8 through the center. So there's going to be our 8 there. Okay. Alright, looking for any other quick patterns. Alright, I'm not seeing any just popping right out of my head, so we'll go through and start marking some of the ones that I see. I see there's 2 1's here through the middle and the bottom, so I know I have to have a 1 up here. I saw these pairs of 9's through the bottom and the middle, so I know there has to be a 9 up here. Some 5's right here across the top and the middle, so I know my 5 has to be down here. Pair of 7's. Don't want to worry about the 7's just yet. Not yet. Not yet. That's okay. I've got some 4's left and right and through the top, so I know here my 4's got to be in the middle somewhere. Now these are creating ghost rows too, is what ghost rows, ghost columns. Oh, you know what? I do see a solution here. 9's right here, left and right. Only spot left for a 9 goes here, which helps us resolve that one. Now I've got 3 numbers left in this row. Anytime I find a row, column, or cube that has just 3 numbers left, I like to look at them and help me with some resolution here. So I've got a 1, I need a 2, and I know there can't be a 2 here, which tells me the 2 has to go here, which is a nice ghost row. No more 2's can go down here, so that is handy dandy. We've got a 3, a 4, a 5. We need a 6 and a 7. Cool. Well, here's a 6 and a 7 in this row, which tells me this cannot be a 6 or a 7, so the only number left for this one to be is a 2. And then here we have a 6 or a 7, or a 6 or a 7, and we get rid of that 2 to complete this particular row. Alright, so that 2 was helpful for us. Now anytime I see like this kind of a pattern, I look for the numbers and they help give me a row here. So I do see I've got a 3 that goes here. So I know one of these 2 is a 3. Okay. Alright. And then a 6. Okay. So this right here, I love this. This pattern right here is called a double lock, is what I call it. These 2 cannot be any other number than 3 and 6. So that tells me that they can't be anything else other than 3 and 6. So I can tell by this resolution, these 2 are 2 and 7. Even though I don't have anything to say a 2 and a 7 can't go here, because of this 3 and 6, it cannot be anything else. I love the double locks. Oop, not a 3. 2 and a 7, and a 2 and a 7. So those are double locked as well. So no matter what, I can use 2's and 7's all the way across here. So see, like this 7 that comes across, and then I use my ghost row and say no 7 can be here. So in this particular cube, one of those two have to be a 7. Alright, same with this 3 and the 6. See how we have a 6 in the left? Well, I have a 6 in the right with this ghost row, ghost column, and I have a 6 across the top. So up here on the top, I now have a 6 here. So I've done this before where it took like 3 ghost rows to give me a resolution to help me out. And so that's, pencil marks are very, very important in these hards and very hards. So for instance, so this left column here, because these two are double locked, I now only have 3 numbers left to resolve. So I've got a 1, 2 is one of these guys, 3, now I need a 4. Now the 4 cannot go here, so I know a 4 has to go here or here. Alright, and then we need a 5. Now I don't have anything to help stop the 5, 6, 7, and then we need an 8, and of course I don't have anything to help me with the 8. So I'm going to leave that just for now because I don't know where the 5 or the 8 is going to go. So I'll just leave that for just a little bit here, and we'll come back and mark those. So I'm still looking for some pairs. I do have a 7 that comes across the top and a 7 that goes through the middle. So I only have 2 spots where 7 could be. Okay. Let's see what other pairs am I looking for. Okay, got my 5, my 7s, 6s. Okay, alright, so we'll look for pairs the other directions. Okay, so we've got a 3 and a 3 and a 3. So this one has to have a 3 here. Now this 3 does come across, and this 3 comes up the left side. So I know I have to have a 3 here. Now this also helps us to do a double lock down here. So we've got a 3 to the left, we've got a ghost row 3 to the right. So now the 3, this 3 and 4 is now double locked. There is no other number that can be in this row column that's a 3 or a 4. So we know we're looking for a 6 and a 7, and then it looks like we're looking for a 9. So these 3 numbers here, 6, 7, and 9. But this 3 and 4 is locked. Okay, so we need a 1, which can be any one of these ones. 2, 3, 4. We need a 5, nothing to help out with the 5. 6, 7, 8, and then we need a 9. So a 9, we already know it can't be one of these two, right? Because there's a 9 and there's a 9, and there can't be here because they're double locked with the 3s and the 4s. So guess what, folks? There's only one spot left for there to be a 9. Okay, and then the other two numbers we were missing was a 1 and a 5, so we're going to double lock it. 1 and a 5, 1 and a 5. So even though I don't have those locked anywhere else, ooh, actually, you know what I do now? Now that I got this 9, look at this. I got a 1 and a 5 here in the right, and I have a 1, so there's only one spot left for the 1. And now with the 5 in the right, only one spot left for the 5. Okay, these double locks, very, very, very important. Okay, and now you see I have a 3 and I have a 2 across, so now this is going to be double locked. So the only number I'm missing up here is an 8, which there's only one spot left for it to go. Okay, that's it. There's only one spot. Alright, so we've got 3 numbers missing here. Alright, we need a 1, and it cannot be in this spot. We've got a 1 here and a 1 here. So we know that the 1 has to go here. 2, 3, 4. We need a 5, and it cannot be here. So, but it could be here or here. And then we need a 6. Now we've got a 6 located here in one of these two spots, because it can't be in this column because we've got a 6 that's locked here. So it can either be here or here. Okay, so now that row is fully marked out. Okay. Alright. So all I was actually just doing there for a moment was just looking for pairs, and we got some good resolutions here to help us out. Alright. Let's see, I'm still looking for some pairs. We've got a pair of 7s here. We can't have a 7 here because of this lock. So that means up here our 7 has to be one of these two. Okay. We have a 3, which we've already got locked up here. We have a 9 that comes across and through the bottom. So the 9 has to come across the top. Okay. We have a pair of 1s. Okay, just kind of looking at the pairs. We've got the 3s, we've got the 9s, we've got the 6s, we've got the 9s. Okay, we've got the 3s. Okay. Alright, so I'm getting to the point where I might need to start marking down all the numbers. Okay, I do have a 2 in the middle and a ghost row 2 on the right. So that means in this cube I have to have a 2 over here. So I've got my 1, my 2 is marked, 3, 4, my 5 is marked. Now my 6 can't be down the middle or across the top. So my 6 can either be here or here. Right? Yeah, not down the middle, not across the top. 6, okay, and then my 7. Okay, so my 6 and 7 are actually double locking. See this 6 and 7 here, and my 6 and 7 here? That tells me this one can't be a 2, because see, these are the only 2 spots that a 6 and 7 can be. This is why I'm telling you this is so important for this, to understand this double lock pattern. 6 and 7 right here going across the top, 6 and 7 across the bottom. So this is actually the only spot that a 2 can fit, because this 1 and 5 is double locked, this 6 and 7 is double locked, and we can't put a 2 here because of this ghost row. So with these hard and very hard puzzles, you got to look at multiple patterns. So here we go. So we have to have this as a 2. Now we knew that one of these 2 is our 9, so this is the only one left to be our 9. Okay. Now we have a 9 down the center, 9 down the right, we have a 9 across the top. So this is the only spot left for our 9. Okay. Now this is going to be this 6 and 7, and see how it matches this 6 and 7? So that's very fitting that that's where that would go, 6 and a 7. Okay. Alright. Alright, so we still have another number to add onto here. But that's okay, I don't want to get too far ahead, but that made that nice and neat. Okay, so I'm just looking at the numbers that we put in. So we'd see, okay, so now we have a 2 and a 7 and a 2 and a 7 that are going to double lock here in the middle. This 2 and 7. See, the 2 and the 7 can't have a 2 and 7 here. And we have a 2 and 7, even though they're a ghost row, you cannot have a 2 and a 7 here. So now these are interlocked. So my 8 and my 3, no, my 8 though. See, my 8 cannot go here. And these 2 are double locked. Even though there's an 8 here, there's nothing telling me this can't be an 8 other than this double lock. Okay, so it's a little bit of a stretch, but you gotta follow these patterns here. So my 8 has to go here. So now I have an 8 in the left, I have an 8 in the center, and I have an 8 across the bottom. So up here in this cube, the 8 has to go up here. Alright, and we've got the 2, the 7, we've got the 3, the 8, and the 9. Okay. 2 and the 7. So we're just kind of looking for some patterns here. Alright, we've got a 4 that can't go here. So let's look at this row. There's 3 numbers that are missing. We need a 1. Let's just mark it 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. We need a 4. Now 4 could go here, but not here because of this one, or here. Okay, and then we need a 5, which a 5 can't go here, but it could go here or here, right? 5, okay. Alright, so I think that's where I'm kind of at the point now. I need to get the rest of these kind of marked out. And there's some things that I'm not missing, or I'm missing because I can't catch it in my head. So I need to start marking out all the numbers here. So we did this row, but let's go ahead and finish out this cube here. This cube is done. So we've got our 1, has to be in one of these two, because it can't be here, and these two are double locked. So we've got our 1, 2, 3, okay, 4. We've got our 5, but see, okay, now this is where I have to be careful because I didn't mark all the 5s. So I have to make sure to mark all the 5s, but before I do that, I'm noticing that I have a 5 that goes up and a 5 that comes across. So I'm creating a ghost row of 5s right here, so this cannot actually be a 5. So if I'm correct, this is the only spot that a 1 can be, and this is the only spot a 5 can be, because you can't have a 5 here. And one of these two is a 5, so you can't have a 5 here. Because one of these two has to be a 5. Okay, so let's just verify that here. So if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, one of these two is a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is the only spot left to be a 1. Okay, now this makes this a 4, and this makes this one a 5. Alright, so now with this being a 5, one of these two was a 5, which now makes this one a 5, not this one. Just kind of cleaning up my pencil work. I get myself caught so many times by not keeping my pencil work clean, so we're going to be a little careful with that. I'm going to clean up my 4 here. And then what's the other number that I'm missing here? Was a 5, right? Okay, so we're going to put in a 5. Now look at that, folks. We have a double lock and a double lock. So the only number that's left is a 4. Of course, now we have a 4 here in the center, 4 in the right, so that, of course, makes that a 4. Okay. Alright, so now that is nice and cleaned up, and let's take a look at this one here. We've got a 1. Oh, we don't have a 1. See, 1 in the middle, 1 in the top, and 1 in the right. So that makes this one a 1. Now this one of these two is a 6, because we do have a 6 here in this ghost row that covers this column in this 6 here, so this is the only spot left for a 6. Alright, now with these two here, if this is a 1, then the only number left here is a 5, and then there's our 6. Okay, alright, now we've got a 1, now we're going to need a 2, and I don't have anything to eliminate the 2 just yet. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I need a 7, and it can be either one of these two. Then I need an 8, which it looks like can be either one of these ones, and then a 9. Okay, so a 2 looks like it can go anywhere. 2, 2, 2. Now that helps with these 2's. Okay, and that's going to lock with these 2's. Maybe that right there might be my ending pattern if we don't get enough resolution. Maybe it's this 2 rectangles. See, here's a 6 and a 7. If this is a 2, then this is a 7, then this is a 6 and a 7, and then we'll see how that interferes with this 6 and a 7, a 3. So we're getting close here to the end of where I get stuck. So hopefully we won't get stuck too soon. We got a couple more numbers here we should be able to resolve before we get stuck. Okay. So we have a 1 here in the right, we have a 1 here in the left, still looking for patterns. Okay, so we've got that resolved. Alright, so we've got a 1, now we need a 2. Now the 2 can't be in the right, so any one of these 4 could be a 2. Let's skip that for just a moment. Okay, we have a 4 that comes across the bottom. So 4 can be anywhere in the middle. 5. And then we need a 6, and it can't be on the left, but it could be any one of these. 7, and then we need an 8, which can't be here, so it can be any one on the right, and then a 9. Okay. Alright. I'm just being a little bit slow on marking everything, but I know I need to do it, but I don't want to, because I'm going to miss something here with my pencil marks. Okay, here we go, folks. I just saw these 5s. Here we go. We don't have a 5 in this upper cube yet. So we have a 5 in the middle, we have a 5 in the right, and and we have a 5 in the top. So that tells me that this is the only spot left. Ooh, and I need to take out that 5. Because we've got the 5 here. So 5 across the top, 5 in the middle, 5 on the right. This is the only spot left for a 5. Now, one of these two has to be a 3. So if this is a 5, that makes this a 3, which makes this one a 9. Okay, now this 3 is going to help us out over here because this now has to be a 2, and this one has to be a 3. Okay, so those resolve out. Now if this is a 2, that makes this one a 7, and if we have a 2 and a 7, that makes this one our 8, and that makes this one our 2. Okay, so the two numbers we're missing here looks like a 4 and an 8. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, 4 and an 8. Okay, now we just did this 2 and 7, which is going to help us with these. We're just going to flop those there. There's our 2, and there's our 7. Now this 7 is going to help us out with this 6 here, because it can't be a 7 anymore, which makes this one a 7, which makes this one here a 6. Now this 6 here makes this one a 7. The 7 makes this one here a 6. Alright, now this 6 here makes this one a 3. That 3 makes this one here a 6. That 3 makes this one here a 4. This is why those pencil marks are so important, folks. Because once you get those, they just start to cascade. They just start falling down. Now in this bottom row, I need a 2 and a 7. But in this spot, I have a 7. So this can only be a 2, which helps me with this 7 and this being a 2. Okay. Alright, so we're getting down to the nitty-gritties here. We're just missing a couple numbers. Alright, so we can tell you what the numbers that are missing here are. We need a 9. Well, we have a 9 in the right. We have a 9 in the center. So here's our 9. 8. We need a 7. Well, we have a 7 in the middle, so our 7 has to go here. 6, 5, and we're missing a 4. 4. Now that helps us up here because we already have a 4. So there's our 8. There's our 4. Okay, we just have one number missing here, which looks like an 8. Okay, now that 8 is going to help us over here. A 5 and an 8. Now this 5 is going to help us over here. 1 and a 5. This 1 is going to help us over here. I'm going to clean up that pencil mark. Now we just have one number missing here in the middle, which looks like a 6. Now, of course, there's 2 this way, but if we go horizontally, we're just missing 1. 1, 2, 3, I need a 4. 1, and I need a 2. There we go, folks. So we didn't get to show the crisscross pattern, but we did see a lot of double eliminations in this game where they lock each other out. And you had to have those lockouts to be able to associate them from other spots. So very important that if there's 2 numbers that fit in the rows, the columns, or in the cube, that eliminates them from being anywhere else in that same row, column, or cube. So that's very important. Double lockouts. Even though you don't know which one it is, that can still help you as you saw in this particular puzzle. So hope you guys had fun watching that. Please feel free to pause it at the beginning, print it off, play along with. Always welcome comments, suggestions, and challenges. I enjoy those, and thanks for watching, folks. We'll catch you next time.